My name is Daniel Brooks, 42, widower, father, janitor. Some nights, I wonder if people even see me. Not in the metaphorical, see my soul kind of way. I mean literally. Do they see me when they walk past me in the hallway? Do they notice the man in the blue uniform pushing a mop cart and humming quietly to himself? I work at Granger Tech, a glass and steel monument of ambition in the heart of downtown Chicago. I've cleaned every corner of that building for the past 8 years, ever since my wife, Rachel, passed away. She was the kind of woman who made people feel warm just by smiling at them. She had this quiet strength. When cancer took her, it didn't just hollow out our home, it hollowed out me. I had to be strong for our son, Elijah, who was only 2 when she passed. So I put away my ambitions, traded freelance gigs for floor wax, and took the overnight janitor job. I needed the benefits. I needed the paycheck. I needed something to hold together the pieces of my broken life. Every night, after putting Elijah to bed, I kiss his forehead, whisper, "I love you more than the stars," and head downtown with my lunchbox, my earbuds, and my keys to a building filled with people chasing dreams I once had. I'm not bitter. Not exactly. It's just, some nights feel heavy. Like the building breathes the weight of decisions I'll never be part of. I hear them sometimes. The executives yelling over conference calls, the assistants crying in stairwells, the interns pacing nervously before a big pitch. It's a whole world above me, buzzing with energy, and yet no one ever asked me my name, until the night everything changed. It was a Thursday, late February. Snow had started falling hard by midnight, and the city felt like a quiet snow globe, soft and still. I was on the 43rd floor, executive level. The air always smells like leather and ambition up there. While mopping the hallway outside the boardroom, I overheard 2 senior VPs arguing about an acquisition, something about a 100 million tech merger that had to go through that week, or the whole deal would collapse. One of them mentioned a clause, something about labor restructuring, cutting non-essential overhead. You know, people like me. They laughed, said janitors were replaceable. One even joked about using AI-powered cleaning bots within a year. I didn't flinch. I didn't slam my mop down. I just stared at my reflection in the polished marble wall. My eyes looked tired. My shoulders drooped. And suddenly, I felt like I had to say something. Not to them. They wouldn't listen. But I had to say it somewhere. So I reached into my coat pocket and pulled out a delivery slip I'd picked up from the printer room trash. I flipped it over, and using the pen I always kept clipped to my collar, I wrote chore. To whoever reads this, if people like me disappear, so does the humanity of this place. I didn't sign it. I didn't expect anyone to see it. I slid it under the door of the boardroom, still dark and empty. I finished my shift, took the train home, made pancakes for Elijah before school, kissed his cheek, and forgot all about the note. Until Monday. That's when the CEO showed up at midnight. William C. Granger, the man behind it all. He was waiting for me in the lobby, and he had the note in his hand. I'll never forget the way he looked that night. William C. Granger, CEO of a $12 billion empire, standing alone under the dim lights of the Granger Tech lobby. The kind of man you'd only ever see on screens or framed on executive walls. Polished suit. Silver hair combed like every strand knew its place. Sharp eyes, too sharp for midnight. He held my note between 2 fingers like it was nuclear material. "Are you Daniel Brooks?" he asked. I froze mid-step, my boots still damp from the slush outside. I glanced down at my badge, then up at him, unsure if I should lie or run. I am. He looked me over, top to bottom, not with disgust, not even with pity, just curiosity. He handed me the note. Did you write this? I hesitated, then nodded. He said nothing for a moment. Just stared at the paper, the 3 lines of ink that had somehow landed in his world. I've had this note sitting on my desk for 3 days, he said finally. I've read it 47 times. I didn't know what to say. My mouth was dry. My fingers clutched the mop handle like it was an anchor in a storm. Then he asked something that no one in that building had ever asked me. Would you walk with me? I blinked. The building. No, he said, already walking toward the elevator. My life. The elevator doors closed, just me and him. No assistants, no board members, just the janitor and the boss. He didn't press a button. He turned to me. I built this company from my college dorm. My first office was a garage with 2 laptops, a space heater, and my brother's folding chair. You know what I remember most from those days? I shook my head. The people who helped us, not the investors. The landlord who gave us 2 extra months without rent. The janitor at the co-working space who kept our coffee machine clean when we couldn't afford a new one. The diner waitress who slipped us an extra pancake when we split breakfast to save money. I swallowed, my throat thick. He continued. Then somewhere along the way it changed. Suits replaced jeans. Memos replaced handshakes. Stockholders replaced relationships. And I stopped noticing the people who held this place together. He held up the note again. This brought me back. The elevator dinged softly, but the doors stayed closed. I came in tonight, he said, to find the man who reminded me that this empire isn't built on code or cash. It's built on people. He looked me in the eye. You're a father, right? I nodded. Elijah. 7. What time do you get home? 6:30 a.m. I make breakfast before school. He nodded. I have an offer. 1 night only. I stared. Come upstairs with me. Not as a janitor, as a man. I want your eyes on something. That's how I ended up standing in the executive boardroom at 12:27 a.m., still in my janitor uniform, while William Granger opened his laptop and cast a giant screen projection on the wall. It was the final agreement for the $100 million acquisition deal. And there it was, buried deep on page 17 2 clause 9.4b. Non-critical maintenance staff across all regional offices to be phased out and replaced with automated systems within 180 days. He looked at me. You're not a lawyer. You're not a strategist, but you are something we lost a long time ago. I didn't understand. Human perspective, he said, and heart. I watched as he deleted clause 9.4b in front of me. Just like that. But he wasn't done. He opened a new doc. Typed the words slowly. Chore. Effective immediately. Granger Tech will launch a new program, Essential Humanity, designed to empower and recognize non-executive workers across all divisions. He paused, then turned the screen toward me. Would you help me shape it? My knees nearly buckled. Sir, I'm just a janitor. No, he said. You're the only one who reminded me who I used to be. 2. By the time I got home that morning, the sun was still stretching over the skyline, brushing light over the snow-covered city. But something felt different. Elijah was already awake, sitting at the kitchen table in his Batman pajamas, scribbling with crayons like the world depended on it. Daddy, he called. I drew the moon following our house again, I smiled, setting down my bag and ruffling his curls. Of course it is, I whispered. It always follows the ones who shine. He beamed. Can we make pancakes like Mommy used to? My throat tightened. I nodded, blinking fast. As I cracked eggs and mixed batter, I kept thinking, was last night real? Was I really standing next to a billionaire CEO, changing a corporate deal with a mop still strapped to my cart? By the time the syrup hit the table, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but answered on instinct. A woman's voice, professional and calms. Mr. Brooks. This is Miranda from Granger Tech Public Relations. Mr. Granger would like to invite you to a press briefing this afternoon. It's regarding the Essential Humanity Initiative. He would be honored if you'd join him on stage. I froze. On stage? With your permission, of course. I glanced at Elijah, now pouring syrup on his pancakes with unfiltered joy. Can I bring my son? I asked. There was a pause. Absolutely. By 3 p.m., I was standing in front of the largest crowd I'd seen in my life. The auditorium inside Granger Tower was filled to the last seat. Reporters, employees, cameras. Elijah clutched my hand, wearing the little blazer we'd bought for church. He whispered, "Are we famous now?" "No, buddy," I said with a smile. "We're just being seen." William Granger took the stage, shook my hand, and turned to the crowd. "This man," he began, reminded me that no algorithm can replace decency. No robot can notice when someone's crying in the hallway. No automation can smile at you in the break room, ask how your mother's surgery went, or wish you luck before your interview. He paused. And yet, people like him, people who hold the human fabric of our company together, are often invisible. He stepped aside and motioned to me. I stepped up to the podium, palms sweaty, heart thudding in my chest. I cleared my throat. "I don't have a prepared speech," I said. "I just mop floors." The room chuckled, but it wasn't mocking. It was warm, welcoming. I never thought anyone like me would be standing here. But I guess all it took was 3 lines on the back of a scrap paper. I glanced at Elijah in the front row. His feet dangled off the chair. His eyes beamed at me like I was a superhero. I wrote that note because I wanted someone to remember. Being essential isn't about your salary or your title. It's about how you treat people when no one's watching. There was a long silence. Then applause. Long, thunderous, emotional applause. And that was the beginning. The next morning, news outlets across the country picked up the story. The janitor who changed a CEO's heart. A 100M deal. And a 3-line note that rewrote it all. Meet the single dad who made corporate America pause. My inbox exploded. People I hadn't heard from in years. Journalists. Workers from other companies. Retired janitors. Even teachers and nurses. One message stood out. Chore. I was laid off last month. I thought I didn't matter. But your story gave me hope. Thank you. It hit me harder than I expected. But nothing could prepare me for what Elijah said that evening as we watched the local news replay my speech. "Daddy," he whispered, "does this mean other kids will see their daddies more too?" I looked at him. "I hope so, buddy. I really hope so."